Well, I'm here with Landus CEO Matt Carstens at the Farm Progress Show in Boone, Iowa. Great to be on our home turf this year, especially for you guys having that new facility just right nearby. Always great to be here. And of course, the Landus VIP tent back here as well. You guys have been busy that whole time. Matt, tell us a little bit about what you've had going on in that tent and how great it's been to have the producers in there in a nice air-conditioned area.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we're out here because it's packed in there right now. As you can tell, people are even sitting outside. So what we did this year with the launch of Conduit, some of the things we've done with health coverage and energy, we felt like it was a time we really needed to open up the lines of communication and get deeper with our farmers on what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. And because Farm Progress Show goes beyond the state of Iowa, it really played well for the Conduit piece. So this was a great way to team up with the Farm Progress Show. It's packed for about 2 hours over lunch, packed about an hour and a half to 2 hours at the end of the day, and then a lot of steady streams going in there. So being air conditioned, having food, it helps a little bit for sure.
And you touched on that Conduit focus on healthcare. You guys just yesterday made that big announcement of an increased focus on rural healthcare and having that available for farmers. You and I have talked plenty of times before about how that can be difficult to get the proper health care. If you're in a rural area, you might be 40 minutes away from the closest just immediate health care, not to mention if you have something that needs further health care. So, just tell us a little bit about what went behind that decision and what it's going to be like moving forward.
Yeah, you mentioned it really well. What we've heard clearly from our farmers is that health coverage was a problem. From a cost, from service, ability, all those things. And so we started this journey 2 years ago, and this is a tough one. Many others have tried it and not been successful. But we've got the right partner with Momentum Ag. We've had 2 or 3 others. We got quite a ways down the road and found reasons that we just didn't think it would go the distance. We feel really good about Momentum. For one, the cost. Our farmers and their employees and even in rural communities will expand it down the road, be able to save anywhere from 10 to 15%. The coverage is nationwide, including Mayo, which a lot of people worry about. Will they be able to get coverage up at Mayo clinics? So that's a yes. But for me, the favorite is at-home care. So this company sends out a little care package that allows a device to sync with your phone. When you call up the virtual healthcare provider that they provide, it's instantaneous appointment and zero copay. That machine lets the doctor look ears, nose, throat, looks at skin, temperature, lungs, all the things that a doctor would need to do right in the comfort of your home or from the comfort of your tractor, either auto steered or parked, but able to get that appointment, see what's going on, getting necessary prescriptions called in, and keep doing what we do, because we know that's what rural lives by. So this was not something I thought we'd tackle. I've learned way more about health coverage than I'd like to. But in fact, we had one farmer tell me I know nothing about it, and at the time he was 100% right. But I did know there was a problem. And if there's a problem with our farmers, we have an obligation being owned by them to solve this. And that's what I'm proud of the team putting that together.
And I want to touch on that because you mentioned that many have tried before to get rural healthcare like this going, but not succeeded. Since you're run by farmers, I think you might be, uniquely positioned to tackle that issue because run by farmers, you work so closely with them and are so intertwined with what they're thinking that I imagine it's been helping a lot to use that relationship with those producers and get exactly what they are wanting to see from this.
Well, no doubt. I think Momentum Ag brings an element of that's really powerful, and being based there in Waukee kind of helps that. I think the other piece is, if somebody wants to come after this, you're coming after a bunch of farmers. So I think they would be very wise to support what's happening here and help our farmers and their employees and in the future rural communities get what they need. That's what this is about. This isn't about who's got domination or who got a law passed that allows everyone to stay out of the market. This is about doing what our farmers need. And choice is always good, particularly choice that allows them to advance their coverage or their whatever they need of support. And this is doing just that.
Now this morning as well, you guys announced the acquisition of Wickman Chemical into the Landus sphere. Tell us a little bit about what went behind that decision, as well as just kind of what this means going forward for both Wickman and Landus.
Yeah, so Landus will own the business that was Wickman Chemical. Eric and Tammy have been there for many years, farmers before that, stayed on some farming operation that they had. And they run a business that is like-minded, where where we see the market going, they've been there for a while. And using that low-cost model that takes links out of supply chain, provides products very efficiently and effectively to farmers is where we need to get on both the Landus and Conduit side. So the team in Atlantic will be moving our facility over to theirs, making some adjustments in the next year or less on the dry fertilizer shed. We'll be adding ammonia immediately to that site, so everything will be there that we need to have there. The teams will come together and continue to serve the farmers that both have under the Landus umbrella. Eric, over time, will go over to the Conduit side with his connections around the United States, helping our Conduit team make those connections and do some things there that will be a big lift to the Conduit piece.
And you know, this isn't an acquisition that's like maybe you see from bigger corporations where it kind of gets absorbed and distributed elsewhere. This is, you guys are taking that acquisition and making the best of it, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And you see other things going on in that marketplace, and you know, we've got to do things that take costs out of the supply chain and bring more trust, more confidence, more of a toolbox to the farmer. Just merging or acquiring to do that game was an 80s, 90s game. This here and now is about the farmer. Look at the economic conditions that our farmers are facing, and what are we doing to take costs out, to improve service, to make available 24/7 like we do on the financing side, where we're going to be launching with an ag commerce site here next month. Those are things that the next generation of the farm, next generation after that are looking for, and even some of our current farmers today that still have runway left are looking for ways to take links out, bring more cost effectiveness, and drive the business. And Eric and Tammy live that every day. It's where we went with Conduit and where we're going with Landus. And this is a great coming together of all that and letting the teams form as one that's right for the farmers in that market.
And of course, earlier I talked about having that home field advantage for the Farm Progress Show. And I don't think anybody has a greater home field advantage than Landus does this year because of that new chemical facility that's right nearby the showgrounds. In fact, I know you guys are doing shuttles out to there to give producers a hands-on look. We've already talked at length about the facility itself, but how great is it to be located right here next to the Farm Progress Show?
Well, now I know what it's like for Iowa State to play a home game, because it absolutely is. We talked to some people on the Farm Progress Show stage, just talked about this morning when they were walking here. The sun was coming up over our facility right there, and it is beautiful. The new bins, the acreage facility, it takes all the links out of the supply chains owned by farmers, goes right from Boone direct to the farm, manufactured there and transported by farmer-owned assets. So this is what ag should be. And the peaks and valleys we've had between whenever and now, so be it. And we had as many of those challenges as anybody. But today, it's a different day. It's a different day at Landus with what we're doing with Conduit, what we're doing with acreage, what we're doing with the toolbox of tools like health coverage for the farmer. This isn't what I thought it would be when I came here, but it's what it has to be, because the farmer for us is what we're here for, and we need to put them at the center and make our journey about them. And if we do right by the farm and the farmer, I think the rest will take care of itself.
All right, Matt, thanks so much for taking the time to visit today. If any of our listeners or viewers would like to get in touch with Landus, how can they do that? Yeah,
definitely possible at landus.ag or conduit.ag. Both of those allow them to get in there. They can always call 515-800-GROW and talk to a live person there on the Landus side, or they could call 618-CONDUIT and talk to a live person on that side.
All right, Matt, thanks again for taking the time to visit, and we'll let you continue on with this busy Farm Progress Show.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Riley.